Hey, job seekers. Welcome to episode 5 of the JobsPlus JobsCast. The JobsCast is kind of our virtual fair where the premise is pretty simple. We check in with a local employer that has some immediate openings. We peek behind the curtain with an insider with some perspective on culture, pay, benefits, and more. And in this episode, we're going to lay out some great opportunities at Amazon. And if after that you're interested in applying, I want you to talk to your job coach about taking those next steps. And if you have a question, what I want you to do is drop it in the chat below and we'll answer it at the end, or if it makes sense to do it in the center, we'll do that then too. So at JobsPlus, we believe in what we call empowerment through employment, and it is our goal to inspire our job seekers to gain the freedom and the power to become who you want to be as you discover self-sufficiency through the work you're paid to do. And today I thought you cannot talk about Amazon without mentioning Jeff Bezos, Amazon's founder. So I found a quote attributed to him that said, "The framework I found which made decisions incredibly easy was what I called, which only a nerd would call," his words, "a regret minimization framework." So I wanted to project myself forward to age 80 and say, okay, now I'm looking back on my life. I want to have minimized the number of regrets I have. So there it is. You're 80 years old, looking back on a decision you made today and asking, what decision do I make here where I believe I'll have no or minimal regrets? What decision minimizes the regrets I have when it comes to taking care of my kids, making sure they have what they need? What decision minimizes my regrets around, my community and the opportunity I have to affect change there? I hope that by the end of today's JobsCast that you have an answer to that, and hopefully more. And maybe Amazon's the answer to that. If not, go check out some of our past JobsCasts over at our website, JobsPlus.org. But with that, we're going to jump into today's conversation. Hi, everyone. I want you to meet Jim Crompton, staffing administrator handling Amazon's hiring here locally. And Jim, while we may all have a pretty good idea of what Amazon is already, tell us from your view on the inside what it's like as an Amazon employee and why you love it there and want everybody to join you.
First off, John, thanks so much for having me. This is a really special opportunity. So I'm really excited to chat with everyone and kind of share a little bit more about the inside scoop at Amazon. A little bit about myself. I've been in with Amazon now about 6 months. I know that does not seem like a long time to some folks, but it's been a wild ride and we have been growing quite a bit in the last several months. That said, I have a background in talent acquisition and recruiting, spent many years moving around the country, building and growing teams. So this is something that I'm super passionate about and absolutely love. The one thing that stood out to me about Amazon, and this is a huge piece, diversity and just the opportunity to be a part of a company that cares about its team, is growing rapidly. I love that fast-paced, technology-driven, data-driven life, and that's really what drove me to Amazon. My team and who I hire for, we hire for Tier 1 warehouse associates. So that is everything from folks that work in our fulfillment centers, picking, packing, and actually getting products ready to be shipped to customers, to actually kind of what we call our last mile, which is our delivery stations. It's those beautiful blue vans that deliver those packages to customers. So that is a huge part of delivering on our customers' promise and making sure that they get exactly what they need.
That's great. You've got some members of your team here today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce them?
Yeah, we have a couple guests, and my manager, Heather Fogarty, she's on this call. Heather, you want to share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Hi, everyone. My name is Heather Fogarty. I am the staffing team leader for Amazon in the Western and Central New York area. We support all the Tier 1 hiring and all, as Jim said, in our delivery stations in Syracuse, soon to be the fulfillment center. And we also have some specialty fulfillment centers, which is the extra large delivery station where they deliver heavy, bulky items in the area. So I've been with Amazon for 2 years. Which, to Jim's point, that's ancient right now compared to our team. We support Tier 1 hiring, and as you can imagine, with the growth comes the growth with our team as well. And so clearly, this particular unit of Amazon workforce staffing has really stood up over the last 2 years and has been a just a fantastic opportunity. I recently moved into this role as the staffing team leader, but when I came to Amazon, I had no experience really in staffing, but I've done a lot of different leadership things prior to that, primarily in retail and other things, working in a warehouse environment similar to what we support. But what was really interesting, I was brought into a role to do essentially what you'd think of as predictive analytics. Never had that background before, but I learned that at Amazon, and was able to really utilize the skills that I already had to develop and move into the role that I'm in now. And that is something that we'll talk a little bit about. But there's a lot of things in Amazon that you can do that you probably don't realize that you have the skill set for, and they'll help you learn and grow. So great to be here with you, and thank you.
Thanks, Heather. Next, we'd have a little guest speaker, Kevin Lang from our Boston region. He's joining us. Kevin has a fantastic journey, so he's going to share a little bit about himself and what that's been like.
Hey,
All yours, Kevin.
thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is fun stuff to do. My name is Kevin. I've been with Amazon for 5.5 years. So I'm like crazy, like Paleolithic ancient. Um, I started my Amazon journey at my local high school at a hiring event, looking for a part-time job as an hourly associate in my hometown's warehouse. So I got the job, and when I started, I was literally one of the slowest people in the entire building. They track that stuff, so I know. Um, but they knew I was doing two things right. I was doing a job that wasn't going to hurt myself or anyone else. Primarily, that was a big deal, or impact the customer in a negative way. So safety was the biggest thing, and eventually they worked to put me in a role where I was one of the fastest in the company, which is pretty cool. Um, I moved my way up to become a semi leader and a trainer of other associates. And eventually, I got asked to go on this away team thing right before the holiday season, which was to open up a warehouse in Cleveland. And I go in to open up this warehouse. I just got promoted to be in another department. And my boss was like, dude, you're gonna train in my department for a week, leave in the middle of the busiest time of the year, and then come back from this away team that you've gone for 30 days and have to remember all that stuff. Go on that away team because it's a great experience. So he was all about my personal development over the development of his department, which is crazy. And it was awesome because I got a Mustang for 3 weeks and my time I had a jacuzzi in it for a little while. So I was not complaining. But it was great. I got to go to a new department, and in my role, they knew I was pretty good with Excel, so they had me work on some Excel projects. One of which they started to use in other sort centers, which was cool. And then from there, I decided I wanted a different type of challenge, so I ended up going to look into staffing. Um, where I do similar things as Jim. I do hiring, work with community members, get people through the process, just manage risk of what we have with far as filling employees' labor orders and stuff. So it's pretty cool. When I decided to go to staffing, I decided to look around for interview resources, and I found this amazing thing called the Interview Question Bank, which is an internal resource with a list of like 118 questions, all broken down by each one of our 14 leadership principles. Um, so I studied those. I basically memorized all of my answers and was able to do well and get the job. So it was pretty awesome. Now I'm in staffing. I love my job. There's been so many great opportunities to move up. Like I was talking earlier today, um, there is this internal website for Tier 1 associates called Own Your Career. And they will give you tips on interviewing and ways you can stand out as a leader, and different things like that. For instance, one of the things they talk about is leading stretches in the morning, where we all do stretches together. They've started to do it virtually, but back in the day, you could lead the stretches, and that would be a way you could stand out and become a leader. So it's pretty cool. And then there's all sorts of other things where Amazon will pay for your school and stuff like that. But I'm sure we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, that's my journey. I started off, like I said, in my local high school. now I'm full-time staffing. I love my job, and I get to do cool things like this. So
That's awesome, Kevin. I'm super glad you were able to join us today, and asked Kevin to be here last minute because I just enjoyed his story and just he's been everywhere. It sounds like kind of in the company and finding your sweet spot. I think has just a great journey and a great story to tell. So I appreciate you being a part of this today.
anytime, glad I could be part of it. Thank you.
You got it. You got it. So Jim, tell us a little bit about some of the roles that you guys are hiring for, the right now roles and what you've got coming down the road here.
Yeah, so the wonderful part is within our node and within our region, we've seen a ton of growth, as I mentioned earlier. Since I've been on the team, we've already opened 2 locations, which is really phenomenal in a very short period of time. That said, our growth really is going to even increase more, especially in the Syracuse area. Right now, we are hiring for our newest location, which is scheduled to launch May the 12th. So that's in about 2 weeks. We've been actively working on that hiring for the last couple of weeks. And once again, these are our tier 1 warehouse associate roles. So really, these are the folks that are going to be, on their feet, working on customers' orders, sorting, packing, really making sure that the trucks are loaded and unloaded properly, and of course, just being super safe. That is a big component at Amazon, is making sure that everybody stays safe. That said, we are currently also going to hire for one of our standing locations in the Syracuse area next week. We have new hire events scheduled to meet with folks mid part of next week. So looking forward to meeting more Syracuse folks and being able to get them through the process. And those jobs should be posted early tomorrow.
That's great. That's great. For those positions, and actually, since you already said that, when is the best time to be looking for these positions? What's the starting gate for when these get announced?
Here's the insider tip, and this is what everybody wants to know. Amazon moves extremely fast. So we get what we call a labor order, usually from our site, several days, usually the week prior to actually hosting a hiring event, when we'll actually meet with candidates the week before. So these jobs, just by need and by base of how much interest we have, they're very competitive. So getting online, creating a profile and submitting an application is super important. Immediacy definitely wins the race. So motivation and effort count here. But honestly, as soon as we post, which typically happens, we have a kind of a new system that we use that's working out really wonderfully. Those posts generally Saturday morning, Saturday midday for the following week. And we also have some great tools so that folks can kind of stay in the know about new postings immediately. So as soon as those job recs are open and those postings are available to apply to, you can easily get a text, which will share the text code, and you'll get a text on your phone and be able to know exactly what we have available at that time.
Awesome. And I've got it on the screen now.
Great.
So people can see that SYR now 4 to 77088. I think I had mentioned I was on our JobsCast this time last week, and I got a text from you guys because I've got those alerts coming right to my phone. So I shared that quickly with everybody, and explain the link to the Amazon Buffalo jobs.
You bet. As I mentioned, don't be discouraged that it says Buffalo Jobs, because that is actually our region, and anything within the Rochester, Buffalo, and Syracuse region, that's our jobs page. So that's our team page. So you will see anything open in the region, which is also super helpful. We love referrals. We love to, be able to share by word of mouth, and also the referral process. If you know somebody in another city locally that's looking for a job, have them check that out as well. That's a super great way to be able to see exactly what's open currently.
That's great. We'll share that again at the end, and definitely include that in our show notes that go up on our website afterwards at jobsplus.org. So real quick, who does well at Amazon? What are, maybe specifically to some of the positions that you're hiring for, but who really seems to excel there?
That's an awesome question, John. And the nice part about these positions, their entry into the company. So we don't feel that anyone has to have had prior logistics or shipping experience to learn how to do the work that we do. We are happy to train the Amazonian way. That said, we have a lot of college students, a lot of folks that are looking for, a part-time job or a second job, or they need hours to be able to, care for a family member or a loved one. And that's absolutely what we do well at Amazon, is providing that flexible opportunity, but also great benefits. So that said, we're really just looking for someone with some key characteristics. We want a positive attitude, someone that can hold themselves accountable, have some leadership skills. Don't need to have been a leader per se before, but really knows how to kind of own their own performance. We love data. So as Kevin mentioned earlier, productivity, attendance, job performance, quality, those are things that we look at consistently. So someone that can really come in, do a great job, and really help our customers and meet that promise of delivering on time. That's someone who's going to be successful at Amazon.
That's great. A couple nitty gritty questions in terms of the roles that you're hiring for, and you can answer these in any order. But I want to make sure that we touch on a couple of things. So, any roles for work limited people, those with criminal records, education levels. I know we are going to talk a little bit about the application process, and
Sure.
maybe that's a better place for that. But I just wanted to touch on those if you're able to.
Yeah, absolutely. So our minimum age requirement is 18. In most instances, we do require a high school degree or equivalency. Folks need to be able to lift up to about 49 pounds. Once again, these are active. You're on your feet 4 to 10 hours a day. So kind of be able to need to keep up with the workload. But these are also super relaxed jobs. So one thing that I love, you'll see I'm in a t-shirt and jeans right now. I love the relaxed work atmosphere. A great pair of sneakers is also really helpful since you'll be on the floor. And then once again, safety is paramount. I would like to add, at all of our locations, due to COVID and the pandemic, we have been making great strides to keep the team safe. We offer a ton of PPE. We stay socially distant. Some of our sites even offer free COVID testing and TBD, but some sites will also offer free COVID vaccinations as well.
That's great. So let's jump into the application to onboarding process. What does that look like for somebody that might be a little bit hesitant to jump in because they don't know how long it's going to take or what to expect? I think it was great that Kevin mentioned that somewhere there's a whole list of interview questions that you can cheat your way in there in a good sense.
So here's the seller here. Here's the cool thing is, like I said, you don't have to have experience to kind of do what we do. And to be quite honest, you mentioned kind of the process and kind of requirements. As long as you can pass our contingencies, so we do have a background check and we do have a self-administered drug test as part of the process. So as long as you can pass those and the shifts that are available line up with what you're looking for, and you can make it through our new hire event, you have essentially a job at Amazon. It's that easy. There is no traditional interview process. Also, as part of the application process, so step one is going to our website, going to our jobs page, creating a profile, and providing some general contact information, a little bit about your background, what you've done before, setting up a profile in that way. And then we also offer a job preview video that you can watch to make sure that the work is exactly what you're looking for, seeing what we actually do day to day. And then a big part of my job is then we host folks to come in for what we call their appointment one, which is their new hire event. And we take care of all, once again, kind of those contingencies, getting to them through that process. We go over their schedule, make sure that that's actually going to work out for them. And if there's other opportunities, we discuss those at those time. But once that process is complete, then we're really just waiting for their contingencies to come back, which usually takes about 5 to 7 days. But essentially, they have a job with Amazon at that point. And most jobs, to be quite honest, it's so fast that folks can have a position within 7 to 10 days. It's that easy. Couldn't get more simpler.
That's great. You heard it from Jim here. You're all hired. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. There is a few steps there, but it sounds like you guys have really made it streamlined and easy for people to get their foot in the door. And then, obviously we heard from Kevin, getting your foot in the door is part one, but once you get there, it sounds like the possibilities for you are limitless. What other opportunities are there for people for growth, both personally and within the organization itself?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. I mean, my short answer is sky's the limit. We have a lot of internal programs. Our career choice program will actually prepay fees and tuition up to about $12,000 for Amazonians that want to find a job even outside in the future of Amazon, which is totally fine. We want to help folks grow and develop in a high demand career or field. So there's a lot of options with that. Of course, we want folks to be able to stay with us and have a long tenured career and grow and develop with the company. So I mean, right now there's a lot of internal opportunities. So first and foremost is kind of learning the role that you're in and really capitalizing on those opportunities, networking, meeting new folks, understanding the culture at Amazon. I think that's always key. And then really looking at what path you want to take. In my short time in 6 months, I mean, there are so many tools, so many career development opportunities to be able to really kind of guide and map and decide on how you want to do that. And then, of course, you have great leadership. Heather has just done a wonderful job kind of ingratiating me onto the team and really showing me all the things that I can do and kind of move forward with. Like I said earlier, I have a passion for talent and people, but with Amazon, kind of powering that behind me, I know that I can do great things in the future.
That's great. We're going to wrap it up here shortly, but before we go, there is I think one quick question here in the chat that came in, and it may or may not necessarily be related, so you can speak to that. I'm going to throw it up here on the screen if I can. Will there be any information on software development internship opportunities in this session? And there is now.
Yeah. I wish I could share a little bit more on that. I do know that while our team doesn't focus on that hiring specifically, I would absolutely encourage folks to go to our general jobs page, look locally, but also look for virtual opportunities to be able to do that. I know that the timing, I think, usually we like to do our internships kind of over the summer and obviously they change based on, the specific team's needs, but I know that there will be a lot of opportunities. So really checking that out would be kind of the first step.
Great. And I think you answered this, but just in case it got missed, high school diploma, is that the base?
That is the base or equivalency, like a GD or something similar to that is our base requirement. Yep.
Great. And actually another great question that just came in from our friends over at the Samaritan Center regarding Centro and transportation to and from.
Yes, this has been a big question and something that we're really, really excited to share. Absolutely. Our shifts are going to align with a bus line. I cannot say how awesome this is going to be, both for the community and for Amazon. We're very excited. Centro has been super supportive. We've been on many calls with them, and we are looking forward to that partnership because that will allow folks to be able to get to and from our warehouse. So that's going to be great.
That's great. Well, we are going to wrap it up, but tell us one more time where we can find any upcoming roles, and if there's anything that you think you forgot or missed, we'd love to hear from that as well. Yeah,
big part. Go to amazon.com/Buffalo Jobs. Please sign up for text alerts so that you are the first person in the know on when we open those new job roles, and that is SYR now 4277088. And of course, you can also, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can find me just by searching my name. It's Jim Crompton. You'll see me as a staffing administrator. I'm happy to answer questions and guide folks that way as well. I'd love to hear from you. But other than that, I think we've covered everything, John. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I got one more question, which I think is another good one in regards to transportation. Should they concentrate on specific shifts in terms of transportation?
I will say up to this point, and I want to take a step back too. So the transportation that I mentioned is really going to be associated with our fulfillment center, since that is our largest site. That I know is what we're really focused around, because there obviously will be a demand for transportation in that way. Our delivery stations, I think it's based on what's available, currently. But yes, it will be based on the actual shifts, so that folks obviously have time to get take the route to the site, but also be able to get home in the appropriate amount of time. So yes, we will be kind of lining those things up.
Great. Really appreciate it. Appreciate Heather and Kevin coming on, and Jim, you giving us some of your time. And one more time, I'm going to throw it up here, Amazon.com/Buffalo Jobs, or text SYR now 4 to 77088. You'll start getting those alerts as they come in. And, it sounds like, Jim, we hit that immediately when that link hits our phone to get those jobs.
Great.
Good. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, John.
All right. Thank you so much. If you're interested in employment at Amazon, contact your job coach. Let them know you're ready to join a team like the one at Amazon. And remember what we talked about earlier. Let's live a life with our own kind of regret minimization framework, just like Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. If your brain at any point put up a roadblock and you just can't seem to get your mind around it, that's not a signal to give up. That's not your brain saying, no, it's too hard. There's too much. I'm not going to be able to do it. Don't let this opportunity pass. That is a signal for you to touch base with your job coach. Let them know that you want this, but explain the barrier that you're facing to your coach. Our coaches are barrier breakers. I say this every week. They're barrier breakers. They're problem solvers. So if you're work limited, you have a legal issue in your past, or if you're just trying to figure out childcare, reach out to your coach. That's what they're there to help you with. They will work with you on a solution. And if you don't know how to reach your coach, I want to encourage you to visit our job seeker page on our website, JobsPlus.org/job seekers. Scroll all the way down to the bottom where there's a form that you can leave them a message, and they are going to be super happy to help you out. But before I let you go, real quick, I want to make a request. If you found the content today helpful, I encourage you just to hit that subscribe button on whatever platform you're watching this on. If it's YouTube, hit the little bell so that you get notifications every time we put one of these on. When a live stream comes up, you'll be the first to know. And as we update new content as well. You can find all of our social media at the top and bottom of JobsPlus.org. Please give us a like or a follow. And one thing I do want to point out is that we do have a job seeker group on Facebook just for our job seekers. This is just for you. If you are part of our program now, if you've been in our program and have kind of graduated it, join the group, answer questions. Once you're approved, you'll begin to see a steady stream of job opportunities of employers that we're working with specifically to help you get through the application process. But beyond that, you can ask questions and network within the group. You're not going to want to pass that up. Lastly, we invite you to join our next JobsCast with Rescue Mission Alliance. They operate programs helping men, women, and children in Syracuse. We'll be talking to them live Friday, May 7th at 2 p.m. Now, let's get to work.